Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the heart of Port Charles every single week. As someone who has been watching General Hospital for decades, I always find myself fascinated by the cyclical nature of family dynamics in Port Charles. And the upcoming episodes from July 6 to July 17 are certainly no exception. We are about to witness a tremendous amount of upheaval, starting with the ever-protective Carly Spencer. Carly is going to be pushing Z, also known as John Oliver, to fire her daughter Jocelyn Jacks from the WSB. Now, for those of us who have watched Carly evolve from her early days, this is classic vintage behavior. She has always been a mother bear, often crossing boundaries and meddling in her children's lives under the guise of protection. However, the spoilers indicate that Carly is not going to get what she wants. I actually find this incredibly refreshing. Jocelyn has grown into a fiercely independent young woman, and seeing her establish her own footing, even in a dangerous organization like the WSB, shows real character progression. Carly needs to realize that she cannot manipulate every outcome, and her failure to sway Z might finally force her to step back and respect Jocelyn's autonomy. Speaking of maternal instincts and shocking revelations, we are going to see Lulu Spencer completely blindsided by her daughter, Charlotte Cassadine. Charlotte is going to confess the truth about Valentine Cassadine previously hiding out at Carly's house. This is a brilliant narrative choice because it intertwines so many complex relationships. Lulu has always fought tooth and nail to protect Charlotte from the darker, more manipulative sides of Valentine's world. Hearing that her daughter was burdened with such a massive secret, especially one involving Carly, is going to be devastating for Lulu. I have always felt that Charlotte is one of the most tragic casualties of the Cassadine legacy. She loves her father desperately, but she is constantly caught in his web of deceit. Lulu's shock is entirely justified, and I anticipate this will ignite a massive confrontation. It reminds me of the classic Spencer versus Cassadine feuds we loved so much in the past, bringing a deeply personal, emotional weight to the ongoing espionage storylines. The younger generation is certainly keeping the legacy of their parents alive, as we see with Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri. Danny is apparently going to cause some serious trouble for Rocco in a desperate attempt to free Jason Morgan. This storyline breaks my heart a little bit, but it makes perfect sense from a psychological standpoint. Danny idolizes Jason, much like so many people in Port Charles have over the years. However, Danny inherited that reckless, danger-seeking Morgan gene, whereas Rocco, raised with the steady influence of Dante, is more grounded. Seeing Danny drag Rocco into his dangerous schemes highlights the collateral damage that Jason's lifestyle has always caused. Yet, ironically, all of Danny's reckless efforts might be for nothing, because Jason and Valentine are already on their way to freedom thanks to a deal Jocelyn struck with Z. This once again proves that Jocelyn is becoming a major power player, stepping into a role that I think even Jason would have to respect. The drama at the Quartermaine mansion is also reaching a boiling point, and I must admit, I am entirely captivated by the impending collision between Willow Kane and Tracy Quartermaine. Tracy is going to have a fierce confrontation with Willow, and if you have been watching Jane Elliott as long as I have, you know that nobody delivers a scathing dressing down quite like Tracy. Willow is already facing a mountain of legal troubles, but the true nightmare is brewing just behind her back. Brooklyn Quartermaine is actually framing Willow as the prime suspect in the hit-and-run accident that injured Jordan Ashford. I have to say, I am deeply conflicted about this turn of events. Brooklyn has always been a schemer, a true Quartermaine in that regard, but framing an innocent woman, especially someone as genuinely kind-hearted as Willow, feels like a step too far even for her. Brooklyn is the one who actually fled the scene, and her desperation to cover her tracks is going to destroy her life. When the truth inevitably comes out, Brooklyn is going to face a horrific nightmare of her own making. The ripple effects of this frame-up are going to be catastrophic, particularly for Harrison Chase. Chase is a man of the law, a fundamentally good and moral person. He is going to be absolutely horrified by the allegations against Willow, but I firmly believe he will struggle to accept her guilt. Chase has a finely tuned intuition, and despite the evidence Brooklyn is planting, he knows Willow's character. When Willow insists she is being framed, I suspect Chase will be the one person who truly listens to her. This is going to put him in an agonizing position, torn between his duty as a police officer, his complex feelings for the Quartermain family, and his inherent need to find the truth. It is a brilliant, tragic setup that will test the moral fabric of everyone involved. Meanwhile, the legal landscape of the city is shifting as Rick Lansing returns to the fold to take on a new client. Rick has always been one of those characters you love to hate, brilliant, deeply flawed, and always looking for an angle. It appears he will be representing Britt Westbourne, who is drowning in her own legal and personal crises. But the legal issues are nothing compared to the monumental, life-altering medical twist heading Britt's way. According to the spoilers, Lucas Jones is going to discover saline in the syringe found in Britt's room. And Jocelyn is going to reveal that Britt's Huntington's disease diagnosis was a complete lie. When I read this, I was absolutely floored. We have spent so much time watching Britt agonize over her impending tragic fate. To learn that she is not dying, that this entire nightmare was a fabricated lie, is a staggering revelation. Lucas is going to be the one to deliver this news to Britt, telling her she is not facing a terminal illness and offering to run further tests to prove it. When Britt finally confirms she has no markers for Huntington's, the emotional fallout is going to be extraordinary. As a longtime viewer, I feel a profound sense of relief for Britt, but I also feel a deep burning anger on her behalf. Who would subject her to such psychological torture? This revelation completely rewrites her future, giving her back the life she thought was slipping away. It is a masterful stroke of soap opera storytelling, pulling a character back from the brink of tragedy and setting them on a path of righteous fury and rebirth. In the realm of romance and lingering ghosts, we are going to see Valentin and Anna Devane crossing paths once again. The chemistry between Finola Hughes and James Patrick Stewart has always been electric, and the July spoilers strongly hint at a romantic reunion. However, Anna's journey is far from a simple happily ever after. She is going to continue suffering from hallucinations of Peter August. I must confess, as much as I appreciate the incredible acting involved, the lingering specter of Peter August is incredibly frustrating. He caused so much pain and destruction when he was alive, and the fact that he is still driving Anna down the wrong path from beyond the grave is a bitter pill to swallow. These hallucinations are going to severely complicate her reunion with Valentine and her relationships with her friends and family. Anna is one of the strongest, most capable women in television history, and watching her mind betray her in this way is deeply unsettling, yet undeniably compelling drama. Across town, Ava Jerome is proving once again why she is a force of nature. She is going to brutally interrogate Ethan Lovett regarding his previous confession. When Ethan was injured, he claimed that Phoebe was not his daughter, and Ava, being the relentless truth seeker that she is not going to let that comment slide. Ethan is going to try and backtrack, playing the fool and pretending he was just delirious from his injuries, but we all know Ava Jerome does not buy into cheap excuses. I love watching Ava in this mode. She is calculating, sharp, and entirely uncompromising. The mystery surrounding Phoebe's true parentage is a fascinating thread, and I am thrilled that the writers are using Ava as the catalyst to pull at it. Ethan might have the Spencer charm, but he is completely outmatched when it comes to Ava's brand of interrogation. The Ashford family is also facing a tremendous amount of stress, particularly Curtis, who is agonizing over his impending legal strategy. The situation is incredibly messy. Curtis wants to blame Isaiah Gannon for leaving the scene of the accident, but with the mounting manufactured evidence against Willow, that defense is crumbling. The legal system is closing in, and Curtis is going to be offered a plea deal that would require him to spend a short stint in Pentonville. This is a monumental decision for a man who has worked so hard to build a respectable, stable life. The thought of Curtis behind bars, even for a short time, is heartbreaking. He has to weigh the certainty of a short sentence against the massive gamble of taking the case to trial and potentially facing years in prison. It is a harrowing dilemma, and it perfectly illustrates the high stakes, real-world consequences that ground this show's more theatrical elements. All of this incredible drama is leading up to a truly historic moment for television. On July 13, General Hospital will broadcast its 16,000th episode. Let that sink in for a moment. 16,000 episodes of love, betrayal, tragedy, and triumph. As a lifelong fan, I am overwhelmed with gratitude and nostalgia for this incredible milestone. It is entirely fitting that on this momentous day, Steve Burton will make his highly anticipated return to the screen. As Jason Morgan, Jason is the beating heart of so many legacy storylines, and having him back on canvas for this anniversary is a beautiful tribute to the show's enduring history. Furthermore, we will see the debut of Dean Geyer as Tristan Roberts, injecting fresh blood and new mysteries into the narrative on a day that celebrates the show's past. Amidst all the crime, deception, and legal battles, there is a beautiful, artistic storyline blooming that brings a much-needed touch of grace to the canvas. Giovanni Palmieri, affectionately known as Gio, is going to accompany Trina Robinson on the piano for her upcoming performance. After all the heartbreak Trina has endured recently, seeing her step into a new, creative space is wonderful. This musical collaboration seems poised to open up new opportunities for both of them, and I am eager to see Trina find joy and passion again. Brooke Lynn is going to confide in Gio about this musical venture, but there is a dark irony here. As she helps nurture this beautiful artistic endeavor, the countdown has already begun on her own life, imploding due to her horrific framing of Willow. The contrast between the creation of beautiful music and the destruction of Brooke Lynn's moral compass is stark and brilliant. Finally, the tension of these 2 weeks will culminate in a high-stakes medical emergency. Portia Robinson is going to go into early labor following a fierce, explosive confrontation. The spoilers leave the identity of her sparring partner a mystery. It could be Curtis, it could be Jordan, or it could be someone entirely unexpected. Regardless of who pushes her to the brink, the physical and emotional stress will trigger the arrival of her baby. Portia has been carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, trying to manage her family's crises while maintaining her demanding career. Seeing her pushed into early labor is a dramatic, terrifying climax to a fortnight of relentless pressure. The birth of a child in Port Charles is always a complicated affair, and I have no doubt this delivery will be surrounded by both immense love and lingering conflict. These upcoming episodes are shaping up to be an unforgettable chapter in the grand sweeping saga of General Hospital, and I, for one, cannot wait to experience every single second of it.